Dr. Gabor Mate says, safety is not just the absence of threat, it is the presence of connection. Welcome back to the Authentic Alana YouTube channel and this Thirsty Thursday. May this moment in time be a moment of connection for you where you can find some safety within your body, with connection with me, and within the world around us. As you may have guessed, today's Thirsty Thursday talk is all about safety. The main point I want to drive home today is that safety isn't just about the locks on our doors, fences around our house, the rules that we follow. It's about how we feel in our bodies. I want to talk to you about a felt sense of safety, an embodied felt sense, and how we can achieve that through nervous system regulation practices and through connection to ourself, other, nature, and the universe. I'm looking really forward to diving in with you all today, but as always, let's take a moment to check in. So as we always do to start our Thirsty Thursday, let's take a moment to check in. Placing a hand on your chest, maybe applying a tiny little bit of pressure with your thumb and your pointer finger, and another hand on your belly button. Closing your eyes if that feels safe for you, or just lowering your gaze. And taking a nice deep breath in through your nose and letting it out through your mouth with a sigh. And again, in through your nose and out through your mouth with a sigh. One more time. In through your nose and letting it out through your mouth with a sigh. Letting your body move, your shoulders wriggle. Just noticing what's happening in your body. Maybe asking, what do I need right now? Is there a way that I can make myself feel a little bit safer, a little bit more comfortable? Or am I okay just as I am? Just listening to the responses, and if you can, honoring those answers and giving your body what it needs right now. And when you're ready, returning back here with us. Now that we're all feeling grounded, a bit more grounded and connected, let's jump into talking all things safety in the nervous system. To start off this conversation, I'd like to start you to think about times when you are safe. Maybe you're in your house, it's calm, there's nobody else around, you're just there relaxing, maybe having a cup of tea. So you are safe. You know that you are safe, but you don't feel safe. Something is telling you that you are not okay. And then also I'd want you to have a think about times when maybe things are feeling a little bit risky. Maybe you're in a situation that might feel a little bit dangerous, but actually you feel quite safe. Maybe because of who you're with or the meaning that you're putting to that moment, you have a felt sense of safety, even though it could feel a little bit dangerous or a little bit risky. So when we're talking about safety, there is being safe. So the external conditions to being safe, things like the temperature being okay, there being no threats in the immediate environment, physically we are safe. We have all of the things that we need: food, water, shelter. So that is our physical safety. But then there is also this felt sense of safety, this feeling safe. This feeling safe is our body or our nervous system's interpretation. So when we're thinking about this feeling safe piece, we really need to talk about neuroception. Now, we have talked about neuroception in the overview of the autonomic nervous system back in one of the very first Thirsty Thursdays. So if you missed that, feel free to jump back and have a look at that. But basically, neuroception describes our sensing of from the inside out, and it's happening below our conscious awareness. So neuroception happens from within, inside our body. It happens outside in the environment, and it also happens between our nervous systems. So when we're talking about a felt sense of safety, we're talking about whether our nervous system is detecting safety from inside our bodies, in the outside environment, and also between our nervous systems when we're with other people. Now, this felt sense of safety depends on our experiences, our nervous system resilience, and any trauma or challenging situations that we've been in that have shaped our nervous system. And those things can lead our nervous system to detect danger even when it seems to be safe. So one of the very first examples I gave you was when we were walking, if you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you think you see a snake and you jump back, you detect danger immediately. Your nervous system, under your conscious awareness, detects danger, even though there is no danger there. Remember, our nervous system's job is to keep us alive. It scans our environment, it scans our internal body, and it scans between nervous systems to detect safety, danger, or life threat. And remember, we also talked about that the danger or the threat doesn't have to be real. It can be perceived, like the stick that we thought was a snake, but was actually a stick. Okay, so let me give you some examples. Imagine you normally live with somebody, but on this particular night, you're home alone. You're in your house, you are safe. There is no danger around. You're just watching TV or reading a book. And then you hear a noise outside. A creak, maybe. So in that moment, you are safe, but your body is detecting danger. It doesn't mean that there's danger there, but you do not have a felt sense of safety. Imagine a kiddo who's going to bed. You're tucking them in, you're kissing them goodnight, and then they start worrying about everything and anything. So right now, something my daughter is worried about is whales. Now, we live in the middle of land. The closest ocean to us is probably 300 kilometers away. So it's very unlikely that a whale is going to come to our house. However, for her body is detecting danger. She does not, even though she is safe, she doesn't have a felt sense of safety in that moment. And remember, this isn't a cognitive thing. This is happening below our level of conscious awareness without us even realizing it. So bringing cognitive thinking to something that is a body reaction or a nervous system reaction often doesn't help. Have you ever tried to reason with a child who has a fear that seems very unreasonable? Yeah, that's why. So another example, you're walking through the bush, it's pretty hot, you're with a group of friends, you're, like hiking, bushwalking, and really, there's some dangers there. There's dangers of snakes, there's dangers of, falling rocks, if you're in a rocky space, different things that can happen, in the bush. But actually inside you feel quite safe and connected, and you feel like everything is okay because you have this connection. Your intent around this walk was to have connected, safe and regulated time with people that you feel safe with. Another example that I have is when we were on holidays as a family in Fiji, and we organized a trip to go and see some of the sites and different things. And we were in this car getting driven around, and we went these back ways, and there was small roads, and we were going through water, and it all felt, a little bit overwhelming and a little bit dangerous, to be honest. But I could keep myself regulated enough and to feel safe enough because I had my husband with me, and I knew that the people that we booked with were a reputable company and that everything was okay. So although there was lots of feelings of danger around, I was able to connect to that safe enough feeling and regulated enough feeling because of the people around me and because of the experiences that I had with booking that. Now, something else that I want to talk about in terms of safety is we've already talked about physical safety, but emotional safety is also really important for us. So emotional safety is things like feeling seen, heard, understood, and loved. Now, when we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, feeling loved and seen and heard is right down the bottom of the pyramid, with things like basic things like food and shelter. So these things are really important, and emotional safety is just as important as physical safety. So when we're thinking about safety, how can we help our body have a felt sense of safety? How can we give ourselves the experience of that, or the people we love the experience of that felt sense of safety when there might be danger? For example, in our world that feels quite scary right now with lots of things happening globally, how can we bring a felt sense of safety into our body so that we're regulated enough to manage the demands day to day? So if you think about it, very shortly, I'm going to take you through a little guided practice that can give you a little bit of a way to connect into that felt sense of safety. But think about the things that make you feel just right. Think about the things that make you feel safe or make the people you love feel safe. So maybe we're thinking about kiddos. As I'm talking, I'm thinking about my kids always had a little snuggly toy, and actually they still have that. They're 7 and 9, and they still have their special favorite snuggly toy that they've had since they were a baby. So that is a way of giving us a felt sense of safety. Often when we're talking about kids transitioning or separating from parents, we look for a transition object as well to help them, to something that gives them that felt sense of safety. So for example, we might give them a scarf that smells like us, or a teddy bear, or another object that reminds them of us, a photo maybe. All of these things are trying to establish that felt sense of safety and a space that might feel unsafe for them. And we need to remember for our kiddos that they are co-regulated by us. that our nervous systems help their nervous systems to regulate. So when they're going to somewhere that is a little bit unknown, or even if they've been going there for a long time, for example, like kinder or school or daycare, that can still create a sense of danger in the nervous system. Again, remembering it's below the level of conscious awareness. So these things to help them feel safe are really important. Think about the things that you do at home. For example, you might lock the door. For example, you might like your house ordered and clean, and that helps you feel safe. Or you might not. That might make you feel safe. Each of us have different things that make us feel safe. So I just invite you to explore some of the things that might help you feel safe. Is there a person? Is there a place? Is there an object? Is there a time of day when you feel safer? So just explore those things as we continue to explore this felt sense of safety. So this exercise comes from Dr. Johanna Lynch, who is an Australian GP who has devoted her work to whole person care and this felt sense of safety that we've been talking about. And this exercise from her, and I'm really excited to share it with you today to help really bring home that idea of this felt sense of safety and give you a connection to this felt sense of safety that you can take with you after this video finishes. So wherever you are, close your eyes or lower your gaze if that feels more comfortable. Allow yourself to settle in your chair and bring to mind a safe place. It might be from your past, or it might be imagined. Either is okay. It may be cooking, dancing, being at the beach, the river, in the mountains, by a warm fireplace, playing with a loved one, or flying with the birds. Anywhere that fills you with a sense of safety. If any feelings of danger arise, just gently ask them to step aside for now. Remind them you won't lose your awareness of danger just because you're focusing on safety. Notice your natural breathing in and out. No need to change it, just notice. Now I'd love you to return to your safe place and let's start exploring it through your senses. First, I'd love you to notice where you are in space. What's behind you, beside you, in front of you? What surrounds you? What's in this soft and steady place? Now sense where your body is. Where are your shoulders and your head? Your hands and your feet? Maybe you're laying down. Maybe you're sitting. Maybe you're walking or just standing. Just notice where your body is in space, in your safe place. Now I'd like you to notice what you can see in your safe place. Notice the big details and the small. Notice the things that make you smile, that make this safe place feel like home. And what can you hear? What can you hear close by? And what can you hear off in the distance? the sounds that tell you this is safe. And now you might notice the temperature, what you can feel on your skin, maybe the breeze or the sun or the ground under your feet or jewelry against your skin or your clothes. What can you feel? What smells are in your safe place? What scents are in the air that give this the feeling of home and safety for you? And sometimes safety has a taste too. Notice if this safe place for you has a taste that tells you it's safe. And finally, what do you notice inside your body? Contentment, hunger, thirst, maybe a lightness in your chest or an openness in your heart. Notice the cues from inside your body that tell you this place is safe. Now I encourage you to walk back through your senses, knowing you can always return here. Notice how your body shifts as you connect to inside you, the tastes, the smells, the sights, the sounds, the feels, and where your body is in space. Can you find a single word that captures your safe place, that reminds you of this safety, this felt sense of safety? And have one last gentle look around your safe place and gently orient back to the here and the now. Notice the sounds in the room, the feeling of your hands, maybe the support of the chair or your feet on the floor. Just place a hand on your chest or your belly and take one more breath and let it out. And when you are ready, open your eyes. So as we come to a close here today, I just want to remark on the great importance of this felt sense of safety. It is the bedrock of healing, growth, and living a full and fulfilling life in this human world. And as I've pointed out today, that it's not just this physical safety that we're looking for, it's this felt sense of safety. And when we've experienced experiences in our life that disconnect us from ourselves, from nature, from the universe, and that dysregulate us, sometimes this felt sense of safety can be really hard to find. As I've talked about in other videos, connection is often our safety net. Connection is where we can find that safety when it feels like there is none. However, over COVID-19, connection became a danger. Also in, spaces where there's trauma in early childhood, where people who are supposed to keep us safe, the adults around us, if they were a source of danger, that can create this friction between our need to connect for safety and the danger that people can present from these experiences. So as always, go easy with yourself. Have compassion and know that your nervous system is doing what it feels like it needs to survive. And slowly but surely, through these practices, through gentle connection, through compassion, and through awareness, we can move towards feeling more safe within our bodies, within our relationships, with nature, and also with the greater world and the universe. When we do play therapy, or it should be the bedrock of any therapeutic interventions, actually, safety and stabilization is always where we start. Regulation, co-regulation, and creating safety within the relationship and within the therapeutic space is so important. But it's not only important in therapy, it's important in everyday life. And if you are in spaces that are feeling dangerous or threatening for you, you can simply ask yourself, am I actually in danger, or am I just perceiving danger? And if I'm perceiving danger, how can I slightly shift things, or what can I do to help bring some sense of safety to me right now? If we don't know what safety feels like in our bodies, in our relationships, and in our connections, it's very hard to help other people feel that. And it's very hard for us to offer cues of safety to other people in our presence. If we aren't feeling safe in our bodies, often we are sending out signals of danger unconsciously through our nervous system without us even realizing it. So that's also another really important part to pay attention to in this conversation around safety. It's really important to remember we cannot give what we haven't had or what we don't have. So it is my real belief that we always need to start with ourselves when we're trying to support people around us. Because if we can bring that safety and that connection and that regulation to ourselves, then we have it to give to other people. As part of our chat about safety, I would also love to explore the idea that often when we are younger, it can feel, or experiences can feel unsafe. So then our nervous system develops a survival strategy to keep us safe. So often that can mean that we disconnect from our authentic self, from our true being, and start to act and behave in a way that keeps us safe in the moment, but is actually disconnecting from ourselves. So for example, if you're told you're too loud, be quiet, you might sort of shut down your voice and stop talking, or be quieter as a way to protect yourself from getting into trouble, because your system is detecting safety. If you got yelled at, you might then, detect danger when somebody slightly raises their voice. So I'm thinking about those kids in classrooms who say, or even say to parents, why are you yelling at me? And the parents may not, or the teachers may not feel like they're yelling, but actually the child is detecting danger, because even a slight shift in tone makes their nervous system feel unsafe in that moment. Again, detecting danger, maybe when there is some, but maybe it's a perceived danger rather than a real danger. So there's so many layers to this piece about safety, and the felt sense of safety. And sometimes our bodies can feel unsafe too. Sometimes our bodies can be the source of danger for us, or perceived danger for us. And that can be really tricky to find that felt sense of safety as well. So again, remembering to have lots of compassion, practice lots of self-care. And if any of this feels too much, please reach out and we can chat about it more. And I can give you some more strategies and support to help you as you navigate your nervous system and this journey of life. And also don't forget to check out Try It Tuesday and some of the practices there, because that can definitely help with regulating your nervous system and supporting you to feel safer within your body, within relationships with others, within nature, and within the greater piece of life, the world, and the universe. Dr. Stephen Porges so beautifully says that safety is not the removal of threat. Feeling safe is dependent on unique cues in our environment and in our relationship. Promote health and feelings of love and trust. So my invitation to you this week is, what helps you feel safe enough? And how can you return to this feeling of safe enough, even in small ways and in small moments? How can we keep bringing this felt sense of safety into our lives more often? So I would love for you to drop a comment below. When do you feel safe enough? Or what or who makes you feel safe enough? I would love to hear. I really hope that Authentic Alana is a safe enough space for you where you can continue to learn and grow and heal. I really believe that, my job is to send out ripples of healing and love and compassion to as many people as I can, because then those ripples will be felt further and further. So if I can create a space here where you feel safe enough, connected enough, and regulated enough, then that is making changes in the world. And that is what Authentic Alana is all about. Don't forget, if you would like a free PDF with 6 1-minute breath practices to help with regulating your nervous system, to drop me an email and I will send that right through to you. Also, if you would love to be on my emailing list to hear about my upcoming offers to create connection and safety and co-regulation, please email me. It is in the description, and ask to be added to that list, and you will be the first to get all information about my offerings as they come out. Thank you so much for being here with me again today. It is always a pleasure to be sharing my knowledge, my thoughts, and my ideas, and to be connecting with you here in this journey of life. Have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon. Take care.